What's up, IT friends? Happy Friday. So I was at MSPGeekCon this week. It was awesome. If you weren't there, you missed out. And you should totally try to go next year. It's a really good event. You're not getting shilled to every 5 minutes. And the talk tracks are full of people that you don't normally hear on stage, which is kind of pleasant because I actually learned some stuff this time around instead of hearing the same content I've been hearing for the past 5 years. So to everybody who presented, thank you. I really appreciated it. Um, Something I noticed while I was cruising around the conference, I had the opportunity this year to really focus on meeting people that I hadn't really gotten around to meeting yet. And as I was doing that, some of the people that I met that I didn't know about, I was surprised to find had a lot of connections on LinkedIn or social media, or had extreme subject matter knowledge that I wasn't aware of, or just otherwise had some amazing little nugget that I didn't know was there. And the fact that I didn't know it was there, a lot of that's on me, but also some of that's on them. And that's what I want to talk about a little bit today. I see a lot of people in this space that, yes, I understand imposter syndrome is rampant, but sort of if we put the imposter syndrome to the side, I see a lot of people in this space that actually do some of the work, but they don't know what to do next. They don't leverage the relationships that they've built. And I just want to give a few suggestions that have worked for me that maybe if you're listening to this and you put in the work, but you're not really sure what to do next, maybe it'll help you. There were a lot of talks this week well, one of the talk tracks was people in process. So there were a lot of talks this week on mental health as an IT employee, or just sort of in general stuff around people, which I really appreciated. And a theme I saw in a few talks was just sort of an idea of how you interact with people, how you make them feel is really going to leave a lasting impression. And I think that would really be the first thing that I would suggest, especially if you're just a random person in your mind. You know, I'm nobody special is what you're thinking. I work for an MSP or I own an MSP. No one cares about me. Fine. You may or may not have a lot of industry clout. You may or may not have a lot to offer the industry, although I suspect most of you actually have quite a bit you could offer. But fine. But you can make people feel decent. And a lot of that is the same way that we would have tried to make someone feel decent back when we were kids. So that's my real first suggestion. You know, this is the IT space. A lot of us are weird and awkward. We're socially anxious. A lot of us, are a little bit on the spectrum. Everybody is neurospicy. Whatever words we're using now, we're weird. And we were weird back in school. And there's a good chance that a lot of the phobias and discomfort you had back in school, you still have now. So next time you're at one of these events, if you see somebody eating alone, see somebody who looks lost, sitting alone, just whatever. There's a chance they want to be alone, but I think there's a greater chance that they don't really feel welcome or know how to join a group. And just spending that 5 minutes and saying, "Hey, come sit with us," or "Hey, would you like to be a part of this?" or "Hey, how you doing? Great to meet you. I'm so and so. Want to walk over there?" Just doing something that for a second makes them feel included, you might make that person feel like $1,000,000. And they're going to remember that. And, well, okay, I mean, that's a good deed. Why? Why does that matter? Because they're going to remember that you made them feel that way. And if you do that consistently, first of all, it will become part of your personality. So if you are socially awkward and you say, "I don't know how to talk to people," well, keep being repeatedly kind and it will accidentally become part of your personality, and you'll realize that you can awkwardly be friendly to people. But more importantly, you're going to start to build up a network of people that no one else has influenced yet that feel good when they're around you. And when people feel good when they're around you, you have the ability to leverage that relationship to help build both your brands. You want an example of somebody who I think has done a really good job of that? It's Kelvin. I mean, Kelvin's a nerd. We're all nerds. I don't know that Kelvin is objectively that much of a better nerd than the next nerd. I mean, he's a smart nerd, but Kelvin just makes people feel decent about themselves. He treats them well, and people who are just sort of unknown, not the old money IT blue buds, just random people that just want to be a part of something. Kelvin's always the first one to say, "Hey, come sit at our table. Come sit at the cool kids table. You're welcome here. We're glad to have you." And so he built arguably a UI and some code and some nonsense into something that a lot of us would knife fight someone in the parking lot over. SIP. And he took a blog that gave mostly fairly Googleable PowerShell or automation instructions. Once again, good stuff, but not stuff any of you couldn't have come up with on your own. Became one of the most popular blogs and most influential people in our space. And he did it by being good to people. Yes, he was smart, right? I'm not saying that Kelvin wasn't. Sorry, Kelvin. Kelvin's smart, but he's kind to people. And I think that's just an important takeaway for everybody here who goes to these events and they want to get involved, but they just don't know what to do. Just be kind to people. Just find that other person who's a little bit more lost than you and help them feel a little bit less alone, whether that's mentally, literally, or emotionally, whatever. They're going to remember that you did that. So there's this thing that a lot of us who have run quasi-successful SMBs, especially in the MSP space, will offer up. And we all know people like this, where we'll suggest that because of the fact that most of us really aren't that great at selling. Remember, we got into this business not because we were excellent salespeople. We got into the business because we were good at a thing. That referrals end up being how we get most of our new sales, right? And the people who are really smart are the ones who will come in and tell you that you need to ask people for those referrals and you need to be specific. And that's a pretty effective strategy. And there's vendors and there's MSPs that we see that do a great job of that. I am very unironically wearing the logos of two of them that do a great job of saying, hey, we're cool people. Please go out there and tell other people what a cool experience you've had with us. It will help us. And I mean, this one, I remember when, I don't know, like IT Nation 2014, 2015, when there was three dudes with these angel colored shirts that had a code you had to figure out. No one knew who they were. And this big company now. As I was just saying a minute ago, this used to be some Dutch guy that posted lab tech scripts, and big company now. In both cases, I don't think either company made a product that no one else could have made or invented something no one else could have invented. They did something really smart, but they were good to people. They were kind to people. And then after they were kind to people, they asked people for help. They said, hey, help us grow. And here's the thing to tie it all back. If you're going around these shows and, you're taking selfies with a few people, which is smart for other reasons, you're introducing a few people to people maybe they don't know, you're just being good. You're being friendly. You're finding that person who maybe their drink has run dry and saying, can I get you another one without ever having known them before? Whatever. Like, you're being kind. You will reach a point where you now have this collection of people that have felt good because of what you've done for them. Small things that you can now lean on to help you. And I don't mean in dramatic ways, maybe in dramatic ways, but I don't mean in dramatic ways like come help me paint my house or something like that. I mean more subtly like, hey, I really want to get into that Discord group and I see you're in it. You think you could make an intro so I can get in it? Subtle things. You can ask for a referral. You can ask for a social referral. And they'll be happy to extend it. Because here's the thing, reciprocity is real. It was part of my talk. People like saying yes to things because it makes us feel good. You already made them feel good. And now they want to feel good about making you feel good. It's super weird, but that's how our brains work. And it is so not hard to do this. So, my wonderful IT friends all over the space, whether you go to conferences, you lurk on Reddit, you are in Discord, Slack, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever, find a few people to be kind to in the next month. Do that in June. Just find a few people to be kind to. You know, find that person that is literally or figuratively sitting alone at the lunch table and invite them to dine with you. They may or may not take you up on it, but if they do, make an earnest effort to make them feel welcome. You'd be surprised, first of all, just like I was, about how many amazing people there are that you don't know about. And secondly, you're going to make someone else feel a little bit better. And if that's not enough for you, and being pragmatic, of course, I want more out of it. You're building a network of people that will refer you, that will help you do other things. Like I said on my Spicy Monday post, it's going to be WD-40 that is going to help you do whatever you're doing be just a little bit easier in the space. And it doesn't cost you anything. Have a great Friday. It was really awesome to see most of you at MSP Geek. Hope I'll see the rest of you at another event sometime the rest of this year. Stay spicy on Monday. Have a good weekend.